I think I remember.
Like it used to,
A lot of
girls.
smart buyers, smart kids. That, I mean, it certainly
Yeah, I
helps.
put it down there.
Percentage of IB, kids in IB and soccer it was more, there were kids, and I know the girls for sure at Hillsborough.
Yeah, it definitely helps. I was just disappointed, we ended it. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. But it was, I haven't had any issues players, parent-wise, and that.
Yeah, be careful of them.
Well, I'd get down on both knees for that one.
Yeah,
Say, thank you.
the whole time I've been there, it's just.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay, we have,
Yeah, George is really struggling.
this is on the,
All right.
Alright, we got
And
five.
Lord knows we've got, who do we have? Some,
Well, we've got 4 other clubs on the WebEx, but anyway.
well, we have 2 other, we have Steve. Steve, is Steve all right?
Yes, he emailed me today.
Okay. And Mike will probably be here after practice or whatever. Okay.
I defer to you and the treasure stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. They posted.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a couple of things I want to talk about in the executive session. Don't have all this stuff on. I don't want to log into QuickBooks. I think everything is on. It looks like they can hear us. No, they can't. So, whenever you're ready.
All right, well, let's get started. Do we have a quorum?
Well, this is on.
All right, consider that a quorum.
Here, as far as
Follow me. On your.
All right, John?
Ron,
All right,
recording.
we're gonna open the meeting. I'll call to order. I think we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 10. So we might have quorum. See that? I thought road. I mean, it was really a full. Oh. Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, cool. Okay, perfect. All right, get going. Let's just start. We got the minutes.
They are.
Oh yeah. Hey. How you doing today?
Hey, Kyle.
Anybody make a motion to approve the minutes? All right. All in favor? Aye. Cool. All right. Welcome by the president. Welcome. How you doing? You doing fine? You doing all right?
I'll say what I always never go
Hey. We got the under 9, so we'll do that later.
Yeah.
Is it bad or good?
No, it's just an ongoing thing we'll talk about as far as this rescheduling and stuff. I don't think all of us have gotten the phone. In fact, you two were involved tonight. The day part, you 2 clubs are involved in 2 of them.
He's the signer that's gonna.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm being. All right, treasurer's report. Let's get that up. I'm always interested to look at the budget because it's we're close to budget. I mean, we've got cash flow is good, but I mean, I like to stay close to it.
I don't know. I'll have it with me. Right. All right, go for.
Yeah, can you get our now? Can you get the one on that shows the budget versus
okay.
the budget? That to me is more.
All right, I was gonna go in this order. This shows that we took in almost 125,000 this year.
All right.
Almost. That was the actual. So far.
Your budget?
124,875.
Okay.
And
How
so
about
we took in 125.
How about the expenses? That's probably more.
There's the expenses.
Am I the only one?
I'll make a,
Thanks.
over 40 font.
Uh,
Well, that's what we called it at church, the over 40 font. You know,
I think we could add about 20 or 30 to that.
Yeah, anyways,
Okay, administrative fees, then we can tell how we're doing on, right, now
We're over.
okay, all right, that's cool, I understand, we'll revisit that. What else are we grossly, or computer related?
well, it's because we
Yeah, no,
stuff and
well, there's a reason
some
for
of
it
this
all.
wasn't budgeted, ready.
Professional services, what is that?
That is the, CPA that goes over and does our taxes.
So far off with him, does anybody know?
Budget $1,000.
I'm looking at the wrong column then.
Left column.
Yeah,
I'm
see?
sorry.
Actual and budget,
Yeah, well,
There's-
don't worry about me.
okay? Finished.
Okay. But we're still on that,
Yeah.
and we're still,
And I expect that to be,
now, we've got, you don't have February in there, obviously, right?
we don't have February, we don't have,
January.
we have most January expenses except for the days that were assigned in January, they won't be paid till after the meeting tonight.
Okay.
But we've got, I mean, as far as the referees go, but that's where we're gonna be, I mean, we're gonna be on the referees,
Start our fiscal in June.
yes,
Guess we got 4. All right, good. Okay.
actually, it's in July.
We're gonna do it to you, Dave, for sure.
Those attorney fees, and those come in big chunks, don't they?
We're still waiting.
I mean, or not the attorney, the accountant.
That's one shot.
Yeah.
It's 2 bills a year.
Yeah.
Was it Rend and when he files our
Yes, when
taxes?
he files the taxes, and then the other one that I just said,
Right.
out here, which is when he did the 1099 and the other stuff, so.
All right, let's down that.
So,
Judd, why do we have any good expenses from last year?
was a,
In the budget,
we budgeted, but what happened was, the kid was awarded, but we never wrote the check. And so, I contacted Steve and said, I got the money.
got you.
So then I had
Didn't we
to write
budget
the check.
10,000 for that? Why don't we see that?
It was only 4,000 budgeted at the budget meeting.
No.
That was the number I got, so.
All right.
But-
20, we figured, I mean, they're talking about 20 kids, right? Weren't they?
Yeah, it'll
Not
be
George?
20,000.
Yeah.
It'll be 20,000.
10. Why'd you 20 kids? But I thought we put 10 in there, I'm sure we did. That's been our number. We had that in a couple of emails that, you know, we budgeted 10, so somehow we checked it.
Next year, when we do the budget, I'll go over it in QuickBooks, we'll be doing
Yeah,
it, that's where I put it.
All right.
You know, we may have, because I had to move everything manually in there, so. That's the only reason for that. Things are, and these just happen, and.
We'll have a planning meeting that will be
That will
special.
be expensive.
And then, is that it for us to have any mass meeting?
That's it.
The same one.
That's the one, the March.
We're calling planning now, Frank, as the DOC, we had a couple leave right in the middle of the year. I think Jimmy left some of it is, you gotta get someone hopefully from the club that is actually gonna be there the whole year, and has some way, if it's the DOC, then the DOC comes, you know.
I'll send a memo on it after tonight.
What that is really doing the work, that's who we want. We want someone that can take the information back and give us some feedback too at the meeting. And now, Frank, it's different every club, really. I mean, you know, it's, guys who they've been the same guys. I don't know if they're the DOCs or not, but they, you know, it's either one of those two guys has been, you know, it's got some insight to the club, and they've been around it a long time. So you see Brendan or Dan, and you know, that'd be at the meeting if they could get there, or if they appoint somebody to go. So that planning, you know, we want somebody there that can tell us, you know, what we need to be doing, rather than everybody voting on things that, never happened. Then we get to the we get to the regular meeting and no one heard that, this is what you guys decided at the meeting. Who decided this?
Well, we went through like a breakup.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And then it was every year, we were going back and saying, who decided this? So the planning meeting. So,
Yeah,
all right, anyway.
so that's what we got on.
All right, so we're still, from a cash flow standpoint, we're done, so we're still behind, we still don't have any major blowouts yet.
That was the income for January, because that was the money that was held in the reserve.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. All right,
And, sheet that shows how much we got in the bank.
blow that up a little. That's what we got, what I call a burn rate. In other words, we're using so much a month, we're.
But what we've got in the bank as of January 3rd.
And what would you say, we'll, when we turn the year, we'll have 150?
Oh, at least.
Okay.
At what?
Well, when the year, when the fiscal year ends.
Yeah.
Well, we,
If I understand correctly, after we,
we'll see what that looks like. We've had a minor thing which we probably should talk about. I know Brian and I just had gone back and forth. We know the girls are pulling, not the girls, our employees were pulling amounts every month. But their hours were not in line with it. There were more hours than really that we agreed upon and contracted. And this is the end. So I adjusted. I told them, no. If you have a budget and it's a problem, then you budget it, meaning Sherry or Linda, you figure it out and you do what you want to do. We want out of there because it gives us a better idea of what we're pulling and how our money's working. So we had to make an adjustment because they had way more hours than the standard that they were taking out, and we fear for the 2 or 3 months it'll be much less. I guess you could. Sherry said she'd rather have it at an even amount every month. Well, at least for this one, you want to see how you're doing, and I think we're close to that. So from a budget standpoint, to answer your question, we're still going to hit our numbers. Or darns to it, which means if we're out of 125,000, if we're over 5, 6, or 7, or even 10, that's an acceptable measure with the amount we know we have as a buffer. Yeah, it is. Well, and I got to say, we run a pretty tight ship. We don't spend a lot of money doing anything that's untoward. I think between Brian and I and Liz especially, everything's vetted. Guys doing this, the referee thing, we know about it. There's no money going out of this organization. We don't know every dollar that goes out. I got to say, it's as clean as operation as you can get, just about. And we're pretty cheap too. We're frugal with the money, which we should be. And where we invest, we seem to be able to invest more in referees for that reason, and maybe we make more available. Since we know we have a pretty good buffer right now. I don't think we should try and stay. I think it's our role in put a button and figure out this other thing on the side. We're really close. Kurt, how you doing? Oh, that's pretty good. I'd say yes. I'm real happy as we are actually.
Oh, we gotta move back. Only took you days.
Be a limit.
Wow.
You want to pick up?
Yeah.
No. Oh.
Yeah, my wife's not gonna like this. I told her to tune in. She see me since she doesn't see me.
there you go.
I still look the same, dear. All right, Secretary's report, we really don't have anything that went out or anything else that Alan needed to check over.
The only thing that went out was of course, we just normal emails about suspensions. I sent out the memo on the assigners, but that was it,
President's report, Mike and none of the 3 VPs are here. If Melissa had something, tell her to just email and we'll read it out. Is there anything that you can tell us about this, Linda, in your report, in these things. We do have a problem, but I don't think I want to go into that.
Yeah, I don't think
Here.
there's really anything in here, I mean, the game changes, that's out.
Yeah, we're gonna go over that, and Dave, probably for you to listen to it too. We've got, might as well hit it quickly here. It's like when you're watching these game changes now, the last couple of weeks, it's been a real free house, trying to get everybody, they don't know, they can't get the game in, they got, cool games, I mean, there's so much drama that goes on, that seemed to me, the season that we extended has really introduced a lot of, drama. So, Linda, to pull all of the forfeits that we got to see if it's really, it's not, we're under 1% of the games or have been forfeited, under 1%. But there are more of these games, and this year's number for the seniors. It seems like that's the real problem in terms of people first not planning well and keeping that game in front of them. When set these games and throw them off to the spring or winter, they're not putting them in front of them to realize, oh wow, it's within 2 weeks or a week away, and I have a game. Our club also. I mean, I got in front, but wasn't thinking. George is very conscientious, but you know about it. It's a problem. We had a lot of them land close to, not a lot, we had some land close to when the high school was playing, and that's a predictable event. Your guys or girls are going to be playing 2 or 3 matches in a week, very possibly, and then the schedule a Saturday game right for that. You really got to ask yourself. We had all of them. The FC Tampa did. They had 3 games. The kids had 2 games on the weekends. I mean, it looked like who didn't ran.
Usually they have those.
One was Saturday. Yeah, one moved to a Saturday. But even regardless, Dave, the other thing is that should you be playing if they play Friday night, Tuesday night? You know, I mean, the other question is, and that's a predictable thing. Those games that, and you sign them, so you know every year those games aren't 3 weeks or 2 weeks one way or when they take place. They take place almost predictably at a time.
Oh, yeah.
The senior teams, especially the ones that need to be more aware of it than they are, rather than throwing our hands up and saying, "Oh, my kids," well, it's predictable. So we don't cancel games over that because that's supposed to be. So that's that's the first problem is get back into this thing. Some of those just are not in front of them planned well. Second thing is not getting the job done. Some of them between them, the game rescheduled, and we're running too close to our thing. And we'll go into later, and it'll be something I think we could at the AGM for ourselves to say. Here's the deal right now: between 3 weeks and a week, we're with them and trying to make it happen. We don't want it to be 3 weeks is our cutoff for when you're supposed to have it. But within another couple of weeks, we'll still work with them. After a week, and I talked about this, you got to figure that we can't do that. It's just too difficult. Some could be done because we get emails all the time. Oh, come on, you guys should be able to do it. We've got 3,400 games. So you give us a break here, man. A week is not bad to say within a week, and we're not going to give you a break, but that makes fine, and maybe we look at the amount of the fines or what they're for. He's not showing up, which is really unreasonable information, and it's impolite to the system, and it's really egregious. We're just not going to make it and telling everybody I'm not going to make it. I will forfeit, and I don't think the two of them may find the same, but we'll look into that. But that's some way. But this is really jammed up. If you look at all of the information we're getting from every week now, that seems to be 80% of what people are now stressing over is they can't get these games in. And the first thing would be, well, do we go back to what our system, or do we like the system we have, and we'll accept 1% as a necessary evil?
I can tell you, the one problem now is whole week. And it's not such that every weekend has a game. Cup, and every over 3 games, Parsons having something.
Probably the end of the year tournament, end of season, yeah.
End of the season. But
Yeah.
then have games, extra games, and if you saw the USA Center, U.S. Soccer Center, everything's gone up. 150 soccer. That's 4,532 wrestlers. Does that mean all of them are registered?
Well, but the point he's making, I guess, is, and it's well taken, is it too, I mean, are we not covered games, or is it just stressful to cover the games?
It's very stressful to cover games.
So,
What's happening, putting guys really only should be doing 3 games, not doing 5.
almost abuse.
Well, it is, and what happens from there is that get to the last 2. Well, they're not.
No, true.
These guys are being yelled at in the first game. Just a matter. It's going to be in the 5th game.
Yeah, they start yelling back.
It's either that or you're having referees put in games that are over their heads because they're not thoroughly trained, because it's the only warm body legally available.
Correct.
There's nothing we can do about that right now, but I see it, and that's the note I'm making here as far as anything said about these games.
Saying, the games are going up.
Yeah.
More games are being played. There's more leagues being played, but yet referees aren't going.
Well, you know what? I mean, the planning session, that's something. See, legitimately for that planning session to really go through this and saying, let's think about it, and maybe somebody. The answer, but maybe somebody can start doing something to work words again and do more in the fall when we really got some time.
There's other people out there trying to get.
Yeah. If we have to, don't forget, if we have to, we'll pay them more. I don't care.
I'm trying to start a class this year that we and class, bringing that to more.
Yeah.
We got to get more kids.
Yeah. Well, it's like that's a club issue that doesn't seem to be, and Linda's always telling me, well, it's the clubs, and it is. But we've made something, we'll get a planning session again. Maybe something else we can do.
It's about 3 or 4 clubs I help.
Yeah, to help them get kids in. I don't know what it is, but maybe somebody's going to come up with a brilliant answer, because this referee thing is a problem.
Yeah, and one of the things you got to get on outside.
Yeah.
So, some places, got to.
All right.
I started very young.
Well, maybe this plan, I mean, I'm sure you'll be at this planning thing. You can have a clearer description, I mean, like a whole thing as to how you actually did that and how you're put into some additional program or whatever, because we haven't creatively, this is one area we really haven't done very well with coming up with out-of type of solutions, because it's the whole country, it's not just us.
I will leave it to that.
You know,
I think part of the stuff we know is
oh.
it's amazing. In my class, when they in the club,
I mean, we've been talking about that for 2 years now, and I don't know that we've.
Eventually, let the parents know that they would be. That we were talking about.
Yeah.
They still after removing 2 parents, they'll say.
No, I agree, but I mean, you have to be out there every weekend, and you get in these, you get refs, but you get also, in the middle of one, a crazy one. I mean, you get some certain situations out there that even a field marshal not comfortable because it's somewhat dangerous, and
Call 911.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, you're at the point where the game's gotta stop, and everyone's gotta know that the game's not gonna proceed until you leave the park. But it's, like a fail-safe, I guess, although you don't wanna. Stocks.
Kind of stuff, I think
Well,
you were powder,
yeah.
when you get out of that line, we need to put on the regular purpose margin.
Yeah, Frank, but they're not there all the time and at the fields, and you know yourself. I mean, here's the only issue I have with that is, and I've had went out and gotten fights somewhere else, and when I found out about it, it just, I was just angry. But it happened. It occurred. We didn't encourage it. We discouraged it. We told them what's going to happen, yet it still happened. And that's, the agent worker's not responsible. Some of these things go off. They're organic. There's something happening on the sideline. It boils up, and all of a sudden it's just a mess. And to consistently have a mess is something we should and can do. And Kurt, we're still, that's on our minds. That thing you said. The second thing is that it does happen, Frank. It goes off, and they should know, the volatile parents, the club, the coach, and we sent an email out last year, and so did Marino, very clearly saying we're going to play. But I don't know if it slowed things down a bit. It might have. Who knows? But it's. No, I mean, even the one we said, and we can enforce it. If we have consistent problems with clubs as far as behavior, that's the sideline and the coaches. Why do we put up with the children that aren't going to play? They will play at another club if they want to. They'll play at a well-managed club that can keep people from going crazy. That being said, it ain't that simple. I mean, geez, your whole business is doing that. It's I don't know if it's society. I mean, it's all part of something.
The coaches have to be responsible.
Yeah.
Who their players are.
But the club's got to be to the coaches and saying, look,
That's true. That's true. But sometimes you get you. I mean, I'm the right coach.
No.
Okay. It's not just 19.
No. In fact,
It's all the way up and down the line.
in the early ages, some of the parents are more volatile because they're more in.
Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Okay? We've done that too. But the thing is that
We have to all get rid of him, all of us. We have to do what he's doing and we're doing.
these guys, the idiot, he needs to sit down and say, do you know what took you out? There, so you figure it out. Figure out, you let me know, and then you can go back in.
But you
He does it again.
in the day where people paid to have certain performances on a field, take out a player who is valuable to your income because the parents or they are out of hand emotionally is more difficult. And I'm not saying we're not going to go back. It's Pandora's box is open. But it does, but that's a new thing. Yep.
Forget, say, I'm gonna go to Publix and I'm gonna work there because everybody says, thank you very much. Then what's wrong with you? Okay?
I don't, and again, the planning session, I think this is another thing, is to go back and say, is there anything we can do? But it seems like the last 2 years we've talked about it, and we are, I don't know if we're getting anywhere. There's no way to compare horrible events. We look at last year's horrible events and this year's, I don't know if there's any less or more, are there any worse or better?
Well, I think.
We haven't had a repeat of what went off with, which thing with Deneen and that. I mean, we have had still some, although it seems like we have any, is there a parametric way, is it?
At the festival, 9/10s were worse than the 13th I had last week.
Yeah.
I had one warning 13th last week. Whole bunch of great referees who better be able to control that field.
Yeah.
You better be able to.
Well, I don't think the kids at 9s and 10s, the kids aren't a problem, but the parents tend to be more of a problem because I find they're more emotionally involved with children.
I think we have to get the club, the coaches, that the coaches are responsible for the parents.
Most coaches get football mentality.
Right, and the referee, if the referee finds the parents are going out of bounds, we need to make sure we support it. The referee goes and talks to the coach. If the coach refuses,
Yeah, we
the
gotta
referee
encourage that.
abandons the
That's
game.
why I tell every referee that we have all these rules in place.
Mhm.
Okay, say shut up, don't do this, be nice,
Right.
be respectful, and just go through the ask, tell, and then remove.
Exactly.
And that's it. That's all.
Well,
I keep on telling them that all the time, because
I think it's,
you get to a point because of things that happen, they get upset, and they may
Right.
say,
But you know, the good part is once, that's bringing, and it has to be brought to the attention of the club, that the classes. I don't know which is, the coach did not tell me they had a game. The parent was upset because, one of our players had, I didn't find out until I got the situation meeting, and I always my coaches responsible, got to. So that coach served for one game suspension, and the parents was. And it's gotta be.
yeah. I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think it's, but, raising children, you tell them how many times, and you just keep banging them in till you get it, and I think that's what we're gonna have to do, but we're gonna have to make it, and it is a priority for us. It's not, this isn't just talk. I mean, everybody is aware, the board, all of the referees, the FSR guys, everybody's aware that we put up with any of this stuff, and I think it's just a matter of continuing to keep the pressure on us as long as we can, to push it back a little, over the line, but it has to.
I think it's partly just started, a lot of coaches.
This is in a civil society, we just don't have it
They don't
anymore.
get any report from the coaches, especially with the recreation area, they don't get report from the.
That's correct. Yeah.
They gotta have a.
let's say, 10-year-olds. Came back. And the other team in the box. And she said, no penalty kicks in this league because we don't want the kids bad about it.
Is that the coach?
Yeah, and it was her penalty kick.
Well, you take a picture of one of them, please.
Well, they don't understand that
No,
there's
they
a
don't.
thing called laws of the game, and that's also the same
But that's,
mentality as FIFA. What's
you know,
FIFA?
All right.
DDL Academy, and
Mhm.
they all doesn't come out of the goal line, so on the blow whistle. No, it's our ball. They did it in basketball. We're allowed to get it, but they can't get it. I go, where are you getting these rules from?
Their own.
Well, let's move on. So we can get out of here tonight. But Linda, have you got administrative things to bring? Just covering what's going on.
Is here in my notes for, the executive
All right.
session.
How about you, Frank?
Just one mention, April 11th, our session. I got a phone call today. So tickets are half price to get a scarf.
Can you full email them, we can forward it on.
I was gonna say, is that a Rowdy's email that they can send out
I
with
got a
the?
phone call.
Oh, okay.
But if he sends us
Yeah.
an email, we'll
Great idea. Yeah.
we'll forward it out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't do to support that.
I need something in writing.
President's report, the only thing I've got is that, we're this looming, game that the USA is trying to put together with Liverpool, age group. Brian, did you guys send anybody? I meant to talk to you.
I don't know. I sent it to Harris
Cause you
Mackle.
got, cause you have one team that
Yeah,
really
and it's
probably
a
has kids that
side.
could, I know.
Yeah.
I know that, I talked to Alan about it, there's some teams, they're kind of, the center of our, I'll tell them now, I'll put a shout out to them. Hudson is one and has, I think they're 19 or 17, has a pretty good side. That we even, not Hudson, but whatever they're called now. Northport, another is a fairly good side, 19s. I don't know if we even communicate with them. We're trying to, I guess, but their kids are probably, some of them, would like to participate and are probably good enough to make it a match on the 19s. The 17s, apparently, we've had a pretty good turnout already. It's the 19s that are really thin, so anybody that's 19 out there, Braden Ruhr also has a pretty good side, and Auburndale, I think Jim knows. He has two, actually 17 and 19, that have pretty fit teams also. He got a coach that was like a college coach and played pro and stuff that can, we're looking for some guys to be assistants also. It looks like we're about happy there as far as the paperwork. It is, as Linda has pointed out, a monstrous legal thing to do. We set up now to do all this dual rostering, but we got to get it done in like an 8-day period, which means not only once, meaning we've set up, okay, we've got it loaded in, but the club has to agree and then let them do that, and we got to get it in within like a 10-day period from probably this tryout, which is Sunday, because it needs to go to U.S. Soccer, and that roster needs to go all over the world and get back in a month before the match.
I got my badge. So that's, Liverpool.
It's on the site, right, Linda? We have it as on.
Not on the over 40 font, though.
Sorry.
It's the Liverpool Football College is coming here. They're looking for some matches, and I don't know who, Mike or Greg or somebody got they asked if we could set up matches before the Dallas Cup. It would be for the kids internationally. We found out, first of all, USA, of course, can't do it. But Tampa's doing it, and again, nobody poached. If they do, I will make sure that kid doesn't play on that team. I mean, I'm here to tell you. I know the last time we did this, we had some misunderstandings. We're not going to have any misunderstandings about it this time. It ain't going to happen. So you don't need to worry about that it's a club. We could have made it any club. We just were able, FC Tampa's able to do it because we could bend, we get everything in and have it done. So teams will be populated with dual rostered players. It's called, I think, FC Tampa USA or something like that, the name of the team. And won't affect their teams, and won't affect the state rosters or region cup rosters. So that's all set. And like I said, 17s, they had a lot of good kids. They may use them for the 19s, I don't know. But the 19s were a little short, which you can understand. The seniors are probably not, really thinking about it. But there are, and some of the good teams in our 19s, what are not our normal Tampa, Braden River, it's these guys with only a few clubs, and they're maybe getting a word or whatever. Like, Kai's group, you'd get it. Brian, they're getting it. And Alan, But like I said, the guys up in Hudson and Northport and stuff are, probably put together teams. But there's some kids that can play, and this would be a good day to have food and all this other nonsense also. But it's interesting playing against a bunch of kids from England. They'll certainly learn how to curse in God's language. So yeah, I mean, that's the type of thing we want to try and expose them to, thinking about the Rowdies. Yeah, it's a good start, and we learned a lot in doing it. But Linda's instrumental in taking that pin and sticking us with it, because she really knows, and I explain that to everybody. You're killed if we just do this and there's a mistake. USA, us, everybody, somebody's just going to kick the tar out of us. So we want to do it right. So learn this year how to do it, and we'll get ahead of it again if this team wants to come back to something else. We're trying to enhance the above, that we're helped to form these together. The USA is not a club that cannot do it. So we all got to use a shell of a existing club to do it. I don't know, maybe in the future we'll figure out a better way.
So with the Liverpool also, it doesn't matter if that's gonna.
Well, here's a kid that plays in USA, and he lives in Northport area, right? When will be the next time he'll play against a Liverpool Football Club, team. Probably too soon, and so, you know, international experience, the kid, is playing against these English kids, and, you know, it's something that they're not gonna have access to through normal channels in their club. A lot of kids would.
Who are gonna do the marketing?
Well, they're here, so I mean, they
They're
are.
headed to the Dallas Cup play.
I don't know, you know, I don't know what they're gonna do. Greg, in fact, was over there, so hopefully they'll, start. It's a nice thing, because it's kind of a more interesting game than trying to.
Are they gonna be the only club that are, Tampa USA, is that the only team you're playing here in Tampa?
Playing the FC Tampa set up for their teams, I mean, the teams that are already existing, because there's one, Mike's pretty fit, and I don't know for 19s, but they're okay. Seems pretty fit, so that's a good workout for the Liverpool team. And I understand that the teams right now supposedly look like there's a lot of players there also, so that ought to be a pretty interesting match for them. They're going to play Tuesdays against the USA groups, and Thursdays against the FC Tampa groups. And if we've got other clubs next year that have teams like the 17s, then maybe we get them as a full team, and we'll get another match.
Going back to his kind of thing, what's USA? So these are the only games that Liverpool is playing in the Tampa Bay area.
Yes, that I know of, yeah.
That's what the deal is. Mike thought about USA sponsoring it to open up to help these kids.
In other words, if a kid,
Present something that she's not offering any PSL, not offering whatever.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Those other leagues are offering something we've tried to put together.
As we start this, Gerald, there'll be other, you know, someone mentioned they know the people in the Bundesliga, you know, and they have good contacts there. So, I mean, there may be more possibilities to do this once we learn how to and how difficult it is. That we can continue to expose our kids to, I'm going to say, team type events where they come from a bunch of teams together. Yeah. Well, I'm saying also that they come together, not an all-star team, but whatever you want to call it, a team that comes together from a bunch of clubs, and then switch back to the normal clubs. We're trying to build that super team out of USA, but it's the start, and we have a lot of other ideas as far as going further with the league to get kids from 13 on in situations, where we think, and we all know that in many cases it's not true, but the marketing standpoint, we have really been totally missing in our story, and we haven't done any better this year. That's my fault. I swore we were going to do something. We talked about it. Hell, it's February, and I haven't done anything.
We're looking for our banner.
Yeah. So, because I don't think we've league has done a good job, and I'm putting myself in expressing to the parents in this year that we're in that you're going to get the same experience in this league as you will in any one of them, and you don't need to believe all the stuff you hear outside of that. But we just been a punching bag, and we continue to be one of this of the start to try and change that flow. Actually, we're going to have to do better than this, but I mean, we will. But, one time, we should have had a task force and probably looked into different things to do that we're not doing on social media, for instance. Nobody knows we play 3,000 matches a year, 3,400 matches a year. That's pretty incredible, as a matter of fact, and and I think at this point it's really well regulated. I mean, we are the addition of the extraclerical work, with God Soccer. We are on Monday, man. We're this is tight as ever been, I think, as far as administratively. So we're trying to product forward that everybody shows up for the games. Now we're finding people who don't show up for games because it's important to show up for the game. But you just didn't show up for the game. So So this Liverpool thing, is the start of trying to come into this to have an international event. We're associated with it, our kids are associated with it, not just one of the clubs in the USA. Start, now it's a small start, but you know, it's, all right, that's the president's message. On this Red Card site, upload proof of service to USA website. We have numerous amounts of problems with people playing with red cards, coaches that were tossed out and didn't think they didn't, you know, you need to upload and you need to be looking at this because a couple of guys have really gotten their wrist slapped this year, coaches that had red cards. And so I'm going to protest the red cards, so I just keep coaching. And that's not going to happen. And not even us, this is FYSA. So very important that everybody really regards these red cards as clerically important. If they're caught when they move through that zone, they're not where they've coached, they shouldn't have, because they think probably I'm going to protest it. I'll have somebody write it in when I'm done. They hammered those guys, and you know, sorry for them, but rightfully so. So it's more serious. The head coaches, especially, and other things, they know when a coach is tossed. Should know after the game from the coach, I got tossed. And you said you don't even close to the field next week till I find out exactly how many you got and what it is. And we're on top of it. It's you know, and when you serve one, then we got to also get that clerically.
You gotta know, because then you can take them off the system.
Right.
Another thing, and I think this is what clubs don't understand, is the referee abandons the game for something other than weather. It's a chance because one of the teams did something wrong. And had a referee, a coach assault a referee. Game ended. And the referee said, well, he didn't toss me. I mean, he needs to. It was assault. And coach the next day. So, and his defense was, well, he didn't toss me. Well, Clinton coach, he coached before we had the report of the game, when a game is abandoned, there's serious repercussions if it's, except weather. I mean, obviously weather has nothing to do with it.
But to the clubs out there, who's ever listening, sure to get that taken off because it's very important to get guys back on the field. And if we don't know, it becomes a problem. Most times you can look at it, don't make us go through all of the records to find out that you did serve it. Oh, I served that. Let alone it saves us a lot of time and energy.
It needs to be recorded on the game report, and then the coach has a copy, and all he's got to do is upload it. Right. I mean, like you're sending out notices now, and I'm seeing them uploading. I can see it go ding, ding, ding. So,
the next thing, so that's got to be done, and we say it every week, and we're going to say it every meeting. Annual DOC club president, it is the planning folks out there. Whoever club is the person who is most representative of the club, knows what's happening, and can take the information back to the club. Who needs to be at that meeting? If DOC, club, AOR, I don't care. But person needs to be at that meeting because decisions are going to be made and they need to be communicated back. And it's important. We have taken a lot of the recommendations we get there and put them into play. They get done there. They didn't get done there because we can talk openly. And we did last year. I thought we had a pretty good exchange. Business. Joan Judd, applications due March 14, 2015.
you want me to pull up what I've got so far for the
Yeah.
or do you want to wait and do that in executive session?
Let's do it in the executive session. We did, we'll talk executive session. There are some things that I think we got to get in place that we don't have in place that we need to have in place, and we'll talk executive session. That's good. All right. Anything else for the good of the game? All right. Motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor? Adjourned, and the meeting's done? If it's not a record, but, not even, we'll set up, we'll get right to the executive. We could do that, can't we? And we kill that, right? Joe, thing, are you, most are from.
George Claytis.
Yeah, George is. Mike's still doing it too?
I think sure.
MacGyver, is it?
Oh, we was affiliated with our club, but I think he was.
You feel like he was a black man, but he's been around for years.
Yeah, he's been around for a
But
while.
here's the issue, Brian, we need more money, or we want to give more kids a thing, so we got a $10,000 limit.
I don't know if we did it
right now, and if we're gonna do that.
Everybody.
I do too. And I, Halloween, I'd like everyone to put $10 bills in everybody's we've given, what is it, Linda? It's $300-something thousand, and, yes, and nobody does anything. I understand George wants to include everybody, and I think it's a wonderful thing, but also saying it's gonna be ass buster, rate and all of this stuff, right? So it's now kids are gonna get shut out. So I say that and my God, we're gonna do it. It needs to have some kind of set of priorities before they do it. To say, here's what we're looking at, and here's kind of the weight or something like that. Isabel. So we end up getting sued or something else because someone did get on
Scholarships like that.
I don't think we would.
And scholarships like that are subject to all fine-tuned guidelines.
Well, that's what, I know we're not gonna be able to do that, but if we could even have something in place is just a statement.
Yeah.
I think that your grades are important, and, what's her name, Linda, as we can go back now a couple of years and check how many years they played in the USA. Maybe that's another parameter. Your referee or not, maybe that's a parameter. Put something down, guys, because if you're gonna make a subjective thing, at least give someone a ladder to say, well, and then we said, well, what do you call it? It's going to be very important. This isn't an English contest. This is not. You want to read it? Yes. And they're great. I mean, this isn't there shouldn't be a ton of work. There really shouldn't.
I think they're making a bigger deal out of it than what really needs to be.
Well,
that we're breaking tradition by not giving money to everybody.
Yes. But George makes a good point. I think it's to them. You want to be on a committee. You want to do this and give out money. They give us a little something. Give us a little something as far as parameters of what we're looking at and what we think are important. I think we have some of that in there. I'm assuming. I'm just waiting for the 1 year. I was going to have someone. It's slapped with a suit because we took $500. I think that's going to happen.
I don't.
But at least I think it's important that those guys put some thing out to everybody.
Not advertised on the Morgan & Morgan commercial yet. Where second or what? Get the scholarship you want. Call Morgan & Morgan. It's not there yet, but if
Did we get the Joan John Award there?
Yeah. Call Morgan & Morgan.
No, I was not offended by it, but I'm saying I was just tweaked by George's attitude. Like I said, George, then you give me a set of guidelines, a decent set of guidelines, how you're going to eliminate people, because you're going to eliminate them.
It's right after.
I like that.
I just had it up there, but I'll bring it up.
I can't tell you how many scholarships my kids have applied for.
I can't see it on the thing.
Where they never even heard back. They even got the card.
Well, we tried. We thought about trying to make it more and cut it down to 4 and give it some, they want to do that. That wasn't the idea, but I thought that would be, to give a boy and a girl 5. Make it 10, and give them 5, and that's at least the first use. Now that's got some much. The 500 is not 500, it was 20 years ago, it was a little bit more than it is now. Now it's just, not even close. One kid didn't even pick it up.
Well, yeah, I mean.
But that was
But,
not.
I've had people ask me, we had a kid that passed away, that Spear was a rep player, passed away, and we created, we would call it a clan. I talked to George Mayo, and, but the kids have to apply for it, and there's some mild criteria for it, and it's only $250. But we have to start letting them know, but it's only for Spear players. It's only for Spear players that are seniors that are graduating, But the thing that I was worried about was hell's bells, is somebody gonna, if they don't get it, are they gonna feel entitled to it, and can't just give it to one person. Call 2 or 3 people, call an attorney friend of mine, and are they all gonna start asking for it now? That kind of.
I think the other part of that is when you look at it, there's a lot of, take a look at what you send in for this. It's insane. It's silly.
Oh, yeah.
I think. I mean, that's what I would cut down, make the important things, get them in there, and let them, because then more kids can
We just
apply.
gotta figure out what that is. While we.
Well, I think it's important that the committee give us that, and we say, okay, it's good or bad. We could do it. We will and
They
have to.
select, correct?
And
So they select, so they should have the criteria.
they have to have a criteria, but I think also we gotta attack the application also because it's way over the top.
Okay.
Okay,
I
you
got
ready
a
to go?
question for you now.
Yeah.
Executive committee, the one that we're gonna talk about,
Is
once
it-
that live, and then we'll shut the meeting off after that.
Yeah, are we back on?
Do you want to wrestle call?
Oh, it's been on this whole time?
No.
I thought it was off.
I could have, no, I couldn't. There's a button there.
I had it off. I mean, that's okay. Everything I say is.
My nephew.
What's on here, less, more,
But that doesn't matter. What we're saying is, this is what I say, on the record. All right, leave it on. All right, let's get this executive session. We're adjourned. All right, we're called to order. Everybody, let's get back to this and get it done. Approve last week's minutes. Can we take a look at that?
I'm pulling them up.
Yeah. And there's some Osmar stuff coming, Dave.
Yeah.
Under 9.
Yeah, but I want him to stay.
We'll get it done, though. It's the same thing.
The next thing was all those games that we decided upon what we're gonna do, and pretty much it.
But the one I brought up to Linda and I told them I would look into. So, it's not Central Pasco, whatever. Greater Tampa Bay.
All right, you want me to pull up?
Yeah, Greater Tampa Bay has this very specific about how, their forfeit is handled. And it's complicated and it brings a couple issues that we started to talk about here up, which is two things distinctly in this one. If you see these whole chat thing, it's complicated, but it's long and involved with basically two things. It was put off into the future, so it's in that first set of problems that we have. The teams did realize in time, Gerald, the teams apparently, if you look at the thing and you follow it.
Because I'm familiar with it.
Yes, go ahead, Linda.
Okay, in July, they decided to move a game to February 1st. And in July, during our reschedule period, which is period moving. So then, sometime probably in November, Tampa Bay entered a tournament that would be played this weekend. So they realized they needed to change the game. So they sent 3 messages to Greater Tampa Bay sent 3 messages to North Fort Myers as we moved the game. They sent on 12/18, 12/1, 1/3. They did their back. On February 6th, do not see this here. It was an email to me. Asked me to help. I did Bo Hawkins and with Fort Myers, and to see that the communication started on January 7th. So vindicating. So I figured my part's done, okay? This is not kindergarten, I'm not gonna monitor them. They're communicating. And they're communicating.
These are girls' teams, right?
Yeah, and they're going back and forth. They originally agree, then a guy says, I can't do
No, it's a
that.
boys' game, it's a boys' game.
No, it's a
I'm being facetious.
It's the boys' 17.
17.
This is a boys' team. All right. And 2 days before, Tampa Bay sends me an email advising me that they're not showing up, which I got among a whole bunch of others, and it got lost in the shuffle. I didn't see it. But I did see when Bo Hawkins emailed me, and we've not been able to agree upon a game, and waiting, and I look it up, and February 1st, it's tomorrow. So they're still rescheduling this game. Of course, the game wasn't canceled. I was going to cancel it when, hey, can you help me communicate? Because I'll just get them talking. So, no thing in got soccer to move the game.
They agreed to.
But they didn't put in game change request. Agreed upon the date. They still have it. Now they're still talking. They've already given North Fort Myers a 3-0 win. Now they're talking about when they're going to schedule the game. Because we're going to reschedule it. We're not canceling it. We're not forfeiting. We're going to reschedule.
Standing.
Right. Why I brought this up, first of all, because I told them I would look into it. It is complicated. But when you look at this is one of the problems we have with this extended season that we talked about. The assumption is on somebody's part that we, Oracle people, us, will in touch with the other team, and it's all settled if we will do that, and we don't do and can't do that. That's the first assumption, but a lot of people are under that assumption that once they tell us, somehow miraculously have set this up for them, even though they're chatting and can't decide on a date. So that's the first thing. And it's a problem. I understand why the coach may think that, but not as far as figure. It's not what we should be, what we said we do. So that's a bad assumption, but no problem there. The second thing is you keep moving towards this, and then at the end say, well, we'll just push it off to some indeterminate date. Meanwhile, we're within a week, so we say this is a forfeit. Now, I'm not sure who forfeits, okay, because we've made a decision. But I mean, the fact is that the home team, the people that have to agree to this, have not agreed to
A date yet.
a date.
I don't think that it's a season being extended that we're experiencing. We saw the same stuff in the fall, some of them. They got the same emails that this coach isn't responding, and this was in September. Trying to.
So I agree. We just have more of them. But my point is, we now got a lot of these because people have let this go. But now
I agree.
I don't think we change what we're doing, or maybe not. But their response was somebody's got some club has to understand that these issues that they've got to get out in front of this and they've got to do it. But at the end, when you say, well, we still can't agree, we'll just push this off indefinitely, that can't happen either.
I don't think they thought that. I think that they just...
Well, if you look at the last one, it says
Wait a
here...
minute. No, pull it up. Because we have 6,289 communications, and they're expecting me to monitor all of these and who's doing what. That's the other part of this.
Wonder hours have increased.
I just...
Poor thing.
Well,
I think y'all said with 3,000 games, we've gone through pretty doggone good. And there is a few exceptions.
but again, I bring it up because these tend to be the sore points of it. So we've got either the first thing is that I talked about this, and you, Dave, are in the middle of it too because you're an assigner. weeks, we're saying you gotta have it done. Plus, it's difficult with 3,400 games to move everything around. But between 3 weeks and a week, we're still trying to work with them if possible. So we're still saying, look, you had to have it done by then. But if we can, but when you're after 3 weeks, if we can't about it because you're already beyond that. In the 1 week, we're still trying to help, to do something with this, if we can. Inside a week, we have to come up with a number that's impossible, 3,400 games, to start dealing with this inside a week. No matter if our membership wants to stay with, that's the question, because that week has got to be, to some immutable point, I think, Dave, because you do this, the week is almost impossible to have to deal with multiple change. One change the whole year out of 3,400 games, yes, we could do it.
Like yesterday, I was given one row, okay? I'd already, last 3 or 4 weeks, all done.
Yeah, tough to assign, yes.
And then all of a sudden they come through, we're having 3 games Saturday. Everything in the world. So we're supposed to pull reps. So somebody said to me, tell them that, I can do it. Well, the first thing I do, okay, I go out and I check this. That's where we get to the point where guys that are out there doing 3 games. But you see, the thing is that we're doing all these things, trying to get these games covered. Then, as they go there, it may not be right after that game, okay? And they are yelling. That's great.
No doubt.
So that's
But
the trickle effect.
I think the first thing we've got to figure, and it'll be in this planning commission, but I brought up tonight because we had a lot of this planning session, is we got it off somewhere. A week is a week. That's what's got to be. In other words, inside a week, there's I don't care what it is except something
You
extraordinary.
deal with some coaches that don't system.
No, that's exactly right.
They also have attached to them 9 girls, 9 little boys, 13 girls and boys that expect them on a certain day.
Well, right, that's the point, but let's go further. It's up to the club, for the uninitiated coaches, the ones that you think might not have gotten it, make extra special, to make extra specially available to them to say, you're going to try and move something, you got to do it 3 weeks before if you know. If you don't know, you're in trouble, and after a week, they're not going to do it, and we're going to pay a fine.
Like as
Yeah, to have the emergency.
But we have to say there's a point with a week that we can't we're going to forfeit and there ain't nothing we can do about it. Or we have to go back and review that with our membership to say, is that okay? Because that's what we've decided 3 weeks. Well, what I'm saying about this is the poster boy, not him. Just the poster boy for what happens, how convoluted it can get, and why he feels put out, which I understand. Because, went forth between them, and then they really didn't decide, and he figures, I guess, that's okay, and it's, of course, we're saying within a week. So we fitted this. We fitted this game because 2 days before, they still are not going to play it on that date. They don't know when they're going to play it. We talked about this earlier. We cannot have games that are scheduled on a day just put off indefinitely. You can make another date.
I would just give the forfeit and move on.
Yeah, we did, but
He's appealing.
he's appealing it, but not only that, so that's why we're looking at it. But also, I thought it'd be good to look at because this is the classic example of what happens. It's got every mistake.
Yeah.
It's got the assumption about us doing it for them.
This is the exception, isn't it?
No, this is not.
Well, no, but it is.
As far as like Mayor was saying.
We forfeited less than one. The forfeits right now are under 1% of the total.
I think that's pretty darn good.
Yeah. No, I do too.
Yeah.
But if we're gonna, if I reiterate as a board to say, no, we understand that, and no, these numbers are pretty good. We're pretty comfortable with this system.
And get that communication thread, and there's some numbskulls there.
Well, there's accountability there.
I agree. I mean, it all,
Hey, guys, y'all had
Yeah.
Mary, all of them.
3 weeks, 3 months, you've been working on this.
All of them are the responsibility. The first thing we start out with is the responsibility of the club to get this done. So that's already assumed away. In other words, is there something else we can do, because this has been occurring? We saw more of it lately, that there's a lot of confusion and drama about the moves because they're running out of time. The high school teams are playing.
Tampa Bay. I mean, we forfeited Greater Bay. We gave the 3 points to North Fort Myers.
Well, I know North Fort Myers, it wasn't communicated to start off with.
But they did.
They were out.
They did.
Can't play on the 8th. Now,
Yeah, they-
whose responsibility is it after that?
Well, respond.
But they did on the
Yeah.
7th. The 11th of January,
So they said I can't.
Yeah. But then it was too late.
No, it wasn't too late. We were still within we were
Oh,
over.
and we can't play it, but they couldn't decide on it.
They couldn't decide. That's what was going on. They didn't decide. Here we are at 8 days out. And decided, and then 2 days out.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. And then Greater Tampa Bay still thinks he can reschedule the game at 2 days out.
yeah. And
Well, like they're looking at 1 day weekend, is that what they're looking at?
I don't know.
Let's do the 21st, so what's on the 22nd?
These two teams are hours apart. North Flyers and Greater Tampa Bay is Wesley Chapel area. So, I mean, they have to play on a weekend. They can't do that in school.
yeah.
No.
I think there's 2 days. Somebody's playing the 21st. We'll have the 20th or the 22nd. I don't know what, is that a Saturday or Sunday? What's Saturday?
But again, that's up to them to decide. The problem for us, not the problem, the issue for us is when we're looking at it is stumbles into, we've made an agreement to regame. That can't work for the 400 guys, right? It can't work for the
They have to
league.
reschedule it.
Yeah.
You have to reschedule that thing because we can't live with indefinite.
Even if they schedule.
We have hundreds of them.
So you're looking for a rule?
Well, first of all,
these guys.
How
are you going to say, do you agree with the forfeit? That's the first thing, because he's appealed it, and he's got a right to. But the second thing is, this is a good setup for what happens when we go into this planning session. This is like the example of all the things that go wrong, that we've got to home again or change if we think there's something wrong.
We didn't have.
Then that's the answer, right? Because we're members. We're not.
They got till 3:31, correct?
This game is over.
We have rules in place that they didn't make it by our rules. This is a fait accompli. He's saying I want to appeal. You can't. Well, we bring it here, and everybody someone can think of some reason to that. But the problem is also you have all of this stuff going on. For some reason, these pushed off games, or maybe not even the pushed off games, this attitude towards the thing is, first of all, we've got to make it abundantly clear that we don't do that. We don't schedule it. It's you guys. And you have to have it scheduled in a certain period of time. If you can't come to it, then go back to Linda, but before then, and say, can't agree. Well, then whoever is it that won't agree to change forfeits. Or not, and that's where we got to come to. Everyone's got to, not everyone, a majority of us have to agree. Yeah, that's the guy that's going to forfeit, and that's exactly what's going to happen, because I run the league in any other way.
Our problem with this team, the two teams, is I don't think there's a Saturday or Sunday that either one of them has free.
And
Because of the sheer number of games they both do.
Good point. So now what do we do
So
there?
they're playing 3 different leagues.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and
What's on them?
yes, but what do we do? In other words, so we're forfeiting.
But they've had 3 they've had since forever.
He entered the tournament in November.
Yeah.
He entered the tournament in November. He had,
Who did again?
But
Greater Tampa Bay.
who's wrong here, Merritt? That's the point, that neither one of them can seem to come up with a date. We know that we forfeited Greater Tampa Bay.
this is not a rain.
I'm saying that neither one of them seem to be able to come up with
Well,
anything.
Why did that
you look at your league schedule, and then if you want to play a tournament in the future, then you say, hey, we can't play this particular week, we've got a match. So we'll I don't know, it's.
Okay.
And I don't know that it's they don't know the rules.
Oh, no.
I think some of them just say, hey, if I don't respond,
But you see,
we're gonna have to play,
This particular team, I pulled up Greater Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
I mean, they're entered in, they got a tournament this weekend,
but clearly,
and Region Cup, and then you look, the weekends are gone. So and they're not.
but that's not our fault.
Well, no, it's
And
not.
clearly, they know how to schedule games. Look at all the games that they're playing.
Right, and they have to do this one on a weekend because North Fort Myers, you're looking at 3 hours.
Yeah, you look at three and a half hours, yeah.
One way, so you cannot do.
So
this
North
on a
Fort
full line.
Myers, the reason that is made to forfeit Greater Tampa Bay in this case is because North Myers basically said, I can't do it on the 8th. You gotta come up with another.
I mean, and here's,
Does it reflect their
Yeah, but-
standing?
and there's North Fort Myers. See, they're involved in these other things too.
Yeah.
Question is, why North Myers was not responding until you did.
Yeah, but then they did.
But they responded in enough time, Merritt. That's not the question. Whether we had to prod them or not that's irrelevant. We
I
do
thought
that. We
it
do that.
I took lunch.
In other words, after the prodding, now what happens? They
Yeah,
can't
but
make.
the prodding came after a long period of time.
Yeah, but still
They scheduled it early.
Yeah, but
But if they'd have gotten in touch with us, the first, second, and third request, I mean, that was almost, there was what, 3 weeks before they contacted us, Greater Tampa Bay. And then he contacted me on the 6th, and on the 7th, there was a response
Well,
from
18th
North
to
Myers.
21st is two, that's only a days.
Yeah, 3rd. But but I heard from Greater Tampa Bay on the 6th. And on the 7th, North Fort Myers responded. The day after I contacted them. And as far as I was concerned, they're communicating, I can't monitor,
And nor should you.
I can't monitor.
I say, keep it as is and appeal denied.
You know?
And move on. Does this reflect in the USA standings? Does one get relegated over another or something?
Let me pull up 17 boys.
but that shouldn't come into this. In other words, in this
No, I
case,
agree.
who's the home team? Who?
North Fort Myers was the home
And
team.
so they're the ones that either say, yes, we're going to play that day. I'm not agreeing. We decide by them not agreeing if by them not saying anything, the original game stands.
Yeah.
And so the home team said basically, we haven't made a decision, so we're going to play when we're going to play. By default, right?
When was the original game?
By them not responding, North Fort Myers, correct? But by them not responding to Greater Tampa, make sure I understand the story. By them not responding to Greater Tampa Bay, then technically that game is on. So Greater Tampa Bay nor North Fort Myers showed up. The game wasn't supposed to be played, but it was never scheduled at the request of Greater Tampa Bay.
Correct, it was never rescheduled. Now, the Fort Myers showed up and paid the rest, so.
Sure.
They did show,
North Fort Myers,
well, to the rest.
North Fort Myers did.
So technically they showed up at the home.
They showed up, yeah.
So, but we awarded the forfeit
To North
to
Myers.
North Fort Myers.
Right.
In this case, the visiting team is definitely the inbox as far as solving this.
So North Fort Myers, they're in
They
play.
respond, but they did show up for their game.
Did they show
Let me
any reason
see, yeah,
to
that
show
would
up
be
with
this
enough
team. I
players
think
to
it's
play?
17.
Recommend,
Let me see
make
this
a legal
team.
game.
Not for us to, no, if say that they're not coming, and it comes to us, and I say, show up and pay the reps, then that's it. We don't bother with the thing and the thing. We've never required that.
But you see where the coach, where the head coach thinks he has, not thinks, I mean, has a question at least that, you know,
Greater
geez,
Tampa
how
Bay.
come, how come we're getting,
Yeah, if they don't damn respond, yeah, I'd be frustrated too, but.
but if they, I mean, the game's on until it's rescheduled. That's what I'm saying is,
For putting the name out,
I mean, how do you,
Greater Tampa Bay, right?
look, if Greater Tampa Bay requests, if
This team.
Greater Tampa Bay or the visiting team, not even, the visiting team requests a change. The team does not grant it
It's this one.
for whatever reason. In other words, not responding is a answer. Then the game proceeds as if it's scheduled, or that's what we are, that's my question here is, when you look at this, you start trying to figure out, man, what's wrong with this? Then we go back to the basic, if the other team does not respond at all, they're being impolite.
they are.
But the fact that the game is still scheduled.
Yeah.
That they never agreed gets you in the same territory is that once the home team has not agreed to move the game and reschedule it, then the game's played when originally scheduled. And that has to be understood by all of us. I wasn't even clear. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking,
Well, we're being remiss if we're letting them go up and pay a game fee. You put 7 players, we'll check.
Okay, we'll do
Then
that.
you get a forfeit. If they do that, I mean, we cannot just say the referee.
well, wait a minute, Mary. Let's go back to the logic of this. And I have not responded to you. You've asked me to change the game, and I have not responded because I'm like you, and I'm not going to respond, or I don't know to, or whatever. Or I'm
And that happens a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
One thing.
Mhm.
So the original team that has asked for the change, the visiting team, if it is a visiting team. Now, let's do the other thing. I'm the home team. I can't get it. I don't have field space. I just found out the fields are being used by the Barnum and Bailey that weekend, right? I have now said I cannot host this game. So Kurt and say we've got to change it because I can't host it. You don't respond.
That's where the club should have contacted
Well,
me.
the point is, so you get the forfeit.
Right.
Well, that's right. That's the confusing thing about this to me is that, in this case, he's got a forfeit because it's our rules, but this non-bonding thing is something we've got to.
Disrespect.
How do you deal with that, though?
Well, that's right. You deal with it officially, so if it doesn't happen, you say this is what's going to happen because you didn't respond. Can't blame the guy for not responding, and no. He sent the email, I broke my leg, my dog died,
That action, they can't just say no, they're checking these things out. You got a team parent, you got a coach, somebody that.
Well, then so then let's go to your thing, and I'm just saying, I don't, then we forfeit the team that didn't respond. Well, see, we gotta end up, somewhere in this thing, you end up in court, and,
The team who shows up with 7 eligible players with their player pass, that's who gets the win based on our USA League schedule.
so if I respond to you,
So what happens if both Greater Tampa Bay, they didn't show up, obviously, nor Myers, doesn't sound like they showed up, it sounds like somebody just paid.
they don't show up, Mary, I say, I'm not showing
Then
up.
what do you do?
Yeah, I'm not showing up because I already told me they're not showing up.
That's the problem, is we've got,
That's ridiculous, I don't want my teams are gonna be
If it
there.
goes to a tie, they both lose it, but they both get fined.
So what happens?
You fine them both. And you'll-
that's not,
You can't have both of them lose them.
Well, I don't know, this is something, I don't know if we even thought about this, you know, although,
not,
Oh, yeah, give them a drawing.
because
but there's
all
gotta be,
our
yes,
unions-
you get this unresponding thing is really a difficult.
Can we do that? Can we give them both a draw? And
Well,
find them?
Well, you have to look at what we have done historically in the past. What we've done historically in the past is when Coach A sends mail to Coach B and says not coming, we give him Coach B the forfeit.
Correct.
And
Says
if that
he's
is.
not coming, yeah.
And exactly, and that's what happened in this case. Because Mark Rodriguez sent North Fort Myers,
Said, we're not coming.
we're not coming. And I'm gonna show you another one. This is another one, okay?
Well,
And this is another one where forfeited by a team. And they had gotten a note from the away team saying they weren't coming.
My first thing is whoever shows up at the game, if no one shows up at the game, what happens? Because that's where it goes. We got a referee going there. And we're the referee because that is the game that's scheduled. Whoever shows up either plays or forfeits. So far. What we're getting here, or not exactly here, is to say, why are you going to take, you already told me I'm not coming. I mean, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. You're telling me that I need to get all these 17-year-old girls out here and all of their parents and all driving miles here, and some of them might get killed in a car accident because they're coming to a game, that no one's, and no one's not going to play, no one of these not going to show up, and you're still making me come. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. Can't you do better than that?
yeah, for, say, USS, SA, USFF, FFA, you have 7 players, legal team.
You get the point in this thing.
In a car accident, going to the 7-Eleven to pick up some bottle of milk, so don't put that on me.
What I'm saying, all the reasons you're going to hear later on, that's not one of them, but I mean, that's all the reasons you're going to hear for people not coming.
But as a league, there was communication.
Yeah, communication.
So that you have,
Yes, that's what we're trying to figure out here.
Too late now, though.
Merit
Yeah,
next year, I think, FYSA.
Well, that's why I brought this up.
You say, as a league.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
Right, no, that's what we're discussing this. I mean, what do we do about the team that doesn't respond, and the team that doesn't respond, do we just wait and tell people, don't you kind of foolish for us to tell people they need to show up to a game that everybody knows not coming?
3 weeks to let the league know. They
I know, but I'm saying,
but we will step in.
what if I'm not the guy
I'll
that's,
give you your answers. We'll step in, we communicate, and if you guys wrestle it, if you reschedule the game, know what's up. This is a consequence. If they go up with 7 players, they're going to win. They get the forfeit.
A rule, and
well, the rule is right now, we're okay, I mean, we're
Yeah.
okay.
Things, Paul, is you have a calendar. FY puts out their calendar. Let's put out their calendar.
And you try to cover everything.
So if somebody schedules something, they're playing a league game, that's their rule. And if they can't do it the right way by.
Let's go to though. In other words, I say, I can't come to the game. This is the point I'm making, is that I am telling you, Dave, I'm not going to be there, man. I got a tournament day. I got a tournament that day. If you insist on this, I can't. I am going to play in the tournament. I am not going to be at your field.
It should be on him.
Yeah, but I just told you that. I said I can't do it. You now got to show up to the fields, and you're saying to me, why do I have to show up to the fields? The guys told me he wasn't coming.
Well, you shouldn't have a show.
Well, that's what we're doing now.
At one point, our rules stated that USA Games president.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I mean, if they're not going to be at the fields, Frank, the fact of the matter is we were talking about,
Trying to give you a way out.
well, but why,
Teams to schedule another tournament.
neither of these guys showed, as far as we know, really.
Later, Tampa Bay said, we are not coming tomorrow and we will work to reschedule. And they contacted me.
Right, I mean, so they're getting a forfeit. We understand that, but now,
And I said, you've got to
when
pay
he
the
appeals,
referee.
his appeal is,
well, obviously, he stated he wasn't going to show up
And
for
we've
monitoring.
got a
But
whole bunch of games where.
this is an ongoing issue that we probably need to come some guidelines to say, do you have to, the first question is, do I have to show up if the other team has told me that they're going to be there? That is asinine. I think.
I agree.
Okay. The guy doesn't say he's not coming, he just doesn't show up.
That's a different story.
Well, and I'll show up either because I figure he's not coming. You know, you see what I'm saying? We're getting back, now we're into this, it's the problem we have is we're allowing them, and this is the point about changing these games. Once we decided to do that, we've got a lot more of the attempts to change games. Therefore, we got a lot more issues with me not responding to you in time about the game. Now we got not indecisive. We've got a problem that's kind of a quandary in a sense because
Did they reschedule this game initially? I mean, yeah.
But you know,
So they decided on a date way back when in August or what have you. In July, and they scheduled a tournament for. I just.
schedule a tournament out.
That's great to have.
well, but it wouldn't have been out if Fort Myers said no problem. We'll do it on 2/15.
That's the funny thing, a lot of the kids that Linda's dealing with, she's eating these things, and they're getting worked out once she gets involved. I don't know why we have to get involved, but it seems like, Ron, that's helping.
It helped, but it doesn't.
Why? It shouldn't have to be like that.
That's correct. That's correct.
Let me bring up one.
But let's go back, Kurt. If you had said to me, well, the parents decided last minute we're going to do this, and agreed, you had a game, and I call you up, Merritt, and Merritt says, yeah, man, it's fine. We'll play on the 15th, no problem at all. Now, do we now forfeit the guy? Because Fort Myers agreed now. Now the team has agreed to let you out of that, even though you've made a mistake and you've over-scheduled, and the UA game obviously didn't take precedent. The other guy has now given you reschedules, so we don't punish. I'm trying to be difficult, girl. I mean, this thing is really something we got to give us some. Well, it's the only way we're going to get to the end of it. Not tonight.
What we need to do is, what you're looking at is,
I'm really pointing out.
a better, what needs to be done. And, you know, boom, boom, boom.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we need
In this planning session this year, we need to come up with, we need to bring this in the circumstance that we're talking about and come up with some agreement or, you know, among us that this is how this is going to proceed. So the onus is clearly on a definable team, whoever it is.
I want to bring up this is the one that Kurt was talking about. Braden River, Pinellas Park. Braden River requested the game to be moved to January 31st or whatever. Anyway, they did July. Okay, so then Pinellas County United on January 9th wanted to reschedule. Then the reason was they couldn't get a response from Braden River. Then they couldn't get a response from Braden River. Contacted me. And what happened was, couldn't get anybody from Braden River to communicate with me. I contacted Moriarty. I contacted Dan Whitsit. They did not get back with me. And we're talking about I've got the contact info because when they want to reach me, they can reach me. They refuse to respond. And that's really,
We don't know that they didn't respond.
we know they didn't respond to me.
They respond to her.
They didn't respond to me. Okay, all right, this is a little bit different than Greater Tampa Bay. They did not. And so finally, Sherry, yeah, me,
Well, actually, call for something else.
okay.
The coach had I had just hung up talking to the coach, saying, why are they calling back and whatever, and then I said, Dan, by the way, do you know about this? He says, yeah, I know about it. And we need to, do something.
So now, within 7 days of the game, well then, I sent an email to them and I said, we're gonna let Pinellas County get this, and we're gonna move it because of Braden River's lack of getting in touch with me. Not, but with me. Well, wouldn't know. 3 days later, Brendan Moriarty wanted to move a game 4 days. Well, you did it for Pinellas County United. Well, guess this time, there was none of this lack of communication.
No, but he's got a proper argument,
Mike,
Huh?
ignoring everybody.
Exactly.
That's not a proper argument.
Well, it is. It said, you moved their game, you did it for them, why don't you
Well,
for us?
yeah, but we made an executive decision to do that.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, you can make an exception for me, you made an exception for him, Kurt's on the board, I guess that's, you know, what I.
No, it,
We let the guy speak ahead of me, get by.
No, you see, so we're getting an indeterminate, thing, and what I was telling Linda is, one of the things when I was out there, when we were, with the board at times in the past, it felt like some of the decisions were arbitrary and not based on anything, it was just off with their heads. Well, now you're up here, and you see exactly how arbitrary we can be, because this is not a bad problem. This is done, basically, that we gotta determine, make a request. If you don't say, you know, in other words, if something isn't done, think it through carefully that nothing's done, here is the rule, if you haven't responded or whatever it is, but you've gotta make some determinate thing. It's the ball, clearly, the tennis ball is clearly over the net and in your court. And if you hit the ball into the net, it's on you. In this, we don't know, you know, we're like, if I don't do anything, okay. And our rules, we don't have a rule. No, I understand. But you're assuming again, and I'm just being a devil's advocate here, what you're going to hear. And Dan says, look, I've been out of town and I'm not responsible for moving the games. Sherry, I heard about it. I understand. I don't know what to do.
Then he goes, well, I told this cause it.
Oh, so Dan's.
but I'm the one that
And
emailed.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
See, well,
But Brendan may say, look, I don't remember Dan calling. It was in the middle. I hit my foot with a.
There's so much time.
Yeah.
I oversee, there's so much time.
I agree.
And this is an easy system, and these two have enough work to do.
Right.
We don't need to be getting all.
So that's a good point. So we say there's a time limit to respond. If you don't respond in this time limit,
Well,
then what happens?
yeah, look here, Paul, back up here, go to the top one. The system has got in there, they requested a game change, and they got to refuse or accept.
Well, the away team does. The
Look.
home team puts it in, the away team has
Yeah.
to say yeah, nay.
So they have to refuse. They fail to choose it.
Mm-hmm.
Then what do you do?
You can't.
If they fail to, if they fail to choose it, the default is, turns you down.
Yeah.
They didn't accept it. I mean, they refused it, they just didn't accept it. That is refusal. Or we're gonna have to read that is refusal, right?
Mhm.
3 weeks out, well, you know, my idea.
I mean, that's your answer.
You got some period of time there, and so if you did not get a response, or the response was not positive, then assume the game is scheduled as is. Now, what if you're the home team and you didn't get a response from
You're gonna get a lot of calls coming to Linda about people, hating that. Remember that time we wanted to schedule the game, you can do it for us, you can respond to it? Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Well,
Yeah, but,
Right down across the board with that. Blocks.
but what is in other words, now we're handing out forfeits to people, fines to people based on them not showing or not coming to matches. The fact is that somewhere
You
along,
already told us it's not that really, it's a 1%.
it's 1% of the things goes to failure. But before this, we've got all of this going back and forth. They didn't respond yet. Linda's got to get in touch with them. We got, it's not a good system, Merritt, and we didn't think this through when we got Tucker didn't even think it through. When I can bunch the system by not responding.
Yeah, the reason why there's notified team. But after the chat request, it said notified team, so it must send an email out.
Mhm.
Let them know, hey, you sent correspondence to them. So whatever system they set up, the email system they set up that contact room, if you get that last team, it goes right to that person.
It was on their list.
Yeah, I mean,
whoever's registered for that team.
The system does, it records everything and it records all the responses. The part that doesn't do is if you do nothing.
Somebody got that email. Why can't you say that they must respond?
Well, say that, Dave, but we haven't, heretofore, we haven't said that.
But I'm not gonna go in there and monitor 6,000 communications figure out who's responding and who's not.
And that, before we get to that meeting,
Greater Tampa Bay
we need to think all of that through and say, here's, and the members, us together will say, that's what we'll do.
Maybe they'll cut it down.
But I think we can stress some time on the next year, saying, you know, a day or two to respond, otherwise you're gonna give you a force up. You look wherever you want, they set no rules on us, we'll start following rules.
Failure to respond means that the other team gets
That's
what
what,
they want.
but I think we put this into this March thing and say, look, here's the problem we've got. We identified it fairly well. And this particular thing instance brought it up. We put it to the fore that we says, what do you think? And then we change at the AGM or whatever it is, and we got to put a rule in, then we put a rule in, that's very specific according to what you think everybody wants to do, because we all feel differently about healing even.
I don't think we feel that different. I think all of the ways people are failing to
That's
respond.
right, but what we aren't in agreement is who gets punished and who doesn't get punished.
Failure to respond within 72 hours will result in a forfeit on your part.
Well, the request that's been asked for is granted, period.
I wouldn't agree with that. I mean, if we're bored.
That email that's
Right.
accurate, whoever's supposed to get it, that's part of their duty and responsibility to respond to that. Something.
Well, here's, how about, instead of 72 hours, Frank, if you don't respond by the 3-week deadline, again, not responding, Kurt, is responding.
Yeah.
I'm saying, look, I haven't got time. I did not accept your proposal to move the game.
It's just
I just didn't send anything back to you, but I did not accept it.
That's the atmosphere we're trying to get out of
We are, but absolutely. No.
Enough to respond to the
But decency is not something we've been able to enforce so far in any way.
Well, that's what I was wondering, like, I think this is the only,
So
and I've been affiliated with a lot of sports, they're rescheduling.
No, but I'll tell you, the reason,
You don't wrestle, done.
one of the reasons we do is we have disparate, I mean, we're going 80 miles. I think anybody's driving the distances we are in the, literally isn't, AU is.
I drive, like, out to different states, and if you miss the answer, you're late, done, sorry, have a drive.
That was, that's a limited amount.
But I think soccer is just exploding in all kinds of directions, other sports aren't.
But this thing about the God soccer thing, responding, I mean, it's really, it's something we got to come up with something. God soccer's only got what it has on it. That, whoa.
If this contact email you have on record is responsible.
We can make a rule if you don't do it, like Frank says, we can make a rule, you forfeit the match.
But then you're gonna get.
They come to me, and then I start chatting with Steve or whoever, hey, and a lot of times I'm in the box, I'll say, hey, Steve, help me out, we had this rain out, my kids want to play it, we do it. It's done. Everyone, close it off.
But then you get the famous, nowadays, well, I didn't get the email.
And it
Well, what Kurt's saying, though, it's when it's sent, you've got some record that it was sent.
Yeah, you got something, but Kurt can send me, cause Kurt
You're
can
right.
send me to that notified team, I'm on there, and I'm going, well, shit, I didn't get the email. I could use that as an excuse.
That's the point, I think, is if you get to 3 weeks, though, and there's been no response, right? Well, 3 weeks is the limit.
But then who's gonna call?
I say it's 3 weeks.
Yeah, I didn't.
There's no change. That's all there is to it.
And I know Easton is that, and make sure you agree in the chat box, that you agree.
But-
We've even had coaches say, I agree in the box.
Yeah. But I still think, we go back to the fact, if I didn't respond to you, it's negative, and then I'm not agreeing to reschedule it, so the match goes on as scheduled.
That's what we've been
That's
saying.
probably, that covers that possibility that I didn't get the email. I would have done it, but I didn't get the email. In 3 weeks, if you don't respond to the 3 week thing, after that, match is on.
It's always on. And what gives me is, if they don't respond to an
Then the
email,
forfeit's simple.
we have to,
Don't show up, then you forfeit.
the phone numbers of the coaches are
Somebody's
here.
got to show up.
Well, do they? Well, then we're back to that. So you say,
Somebody's gotta come and take.
what if I say nothing to you, I just don't come, and we have a way to handle that, right? We fine them. show up, but the problem had is,
Fine.
yeah, we will have that in place, so that's good. I tell them not coming.
But now you're,
I find out there's
putting that one line in there.
I find out there's a tie.
Tie to me, and you do show up, you got your 7 players.
Well, that's a good idea, I may do that next season.
I just throw another one-liner in there. I'm gonna tell you if I show up, you don't show up, I show up with 7. Argue I get the
I
win.
just tricked you.
And I expect that to happen.
Well, I think not to stay here all night. Our members gotta decide, I mean, we as a membership gotta decide, but we gotta be very clear about, here's the different states of the world. In a month, we say, if you didn't, within 3 weeks, if you haven't responded, we're assuming that is a decline, so the match is on. You know, up to the match, no matter what they say, yeah, if the other team shows up, you'll be forfeited.
Right, forfeited, you're fine.
But if neither one of them shows up, and I say I didn't show up, because then it's a tie.
Those others, so I call this coach, I email this coach, I do everything I can.
Right.
Within reason to drive to his house and speak to this man.
Right.
He still doesn't respond to me.
Correct, so turning you down.
And that's a done deal. There's the end of it.
But he could say, no, we can't do it, sorry.
Well, then why didn't you say no? That's what I'm saying. No. Didn't you get girls like that, Kurt, where you just called them and called them and called them?
No, but I mean, that's the same, Kurt, we could taste, I mean, but we have these people embedded in our system, and there may be a reason now and then why the guy didn't respond that's legitimate. We don't know that. So we're in a country that's presumed innocent. So say the guy didn't respond, he's a butthead, so we can do that.
Well, he called.
No. I agree with you that the guy's disrespectful.
Everything I can.
Well, no, but I think that's disrespectful, I really do, personally.
It is.
But we can't forfeit him, because he was disrespectful to. So, you know, I just never liked his haircut, you know? I just can't respond to
Well,
it.
that's the attitude you have to get.
No, but I'm saying, we're not gonna change that guy.
Don't make a rule on 85 players play against each other. Coach, go from there.
Yeah.
I think we beat this dog.
Yeah, but we come up with
Figure
something.
out some solution though.
Yeah.
Well, we have to change it at the age.
We have to, before the AGM, we gotta get this in front of everybody. Now we got a good definition of what's gone wrong, so we'll.
Okay,
Next.
I'm gonna tell you what, Mark is gonna say. He was out of the country.
He might have.
Everybody on their email list in that club.
That's gonna be hard.
And he's valid, except that it's not right now for the season and what we do, that doesn't work. We understand that there's some things in this system we don't really understand, but.
You don't check that.
Because I've got emails from him.
He communicates when he wants to.
Right.
Well, I mean, we're making assumptions about it. My point is, he had a point in this thing. It's not going to change what we did, because in what we're doing now, he forfeited. He wasn't coming. I didn't say anything. He's coming to the game. That's a forfeit.
Yeah.
Had nothing to say about it. He was ready to play as far as we know, but that we don't know that.
See, that's the part is.
You can't unilaterally cancel a game.
Well, game, but we give forfeit points different than a game. That's not a 3-0 game. Gave one team forfeit points. That's different.
Let's roll all that.
We've done that in
So we can get out of here tonight, but I mean, you see now why I brought this up. It really confused me, as I was figuring, well, the guy didn't answer him. Well, didn't answer him. Well, if we're gonna make that thing, then you don't answer, you're in trouble.
Got your notes on hold.
No, I don't, right here though, Maren, it's right here.
Steel trap.
Okay, here we are with,
Loaded,
here with Oldsmar.
the steel wall.
I want you to realize that game change requests at 4 o'clock today, there was none. Because I checked them and let them here. I see there's these two that are for this again. I read their 9s and 10s. And the assigner I would ask is sit in here. We don't like moving games within it, even for 9s and 10s.
Omar put the request in, West Florida Flames agreed. Omar put the request in, Pinellas Park request. Everybody's agreed. 9:10, the assigner's here. I mean,
Yeah, but didn't we go through this? Minor,
well, that's why I'm being the assigner. It's already assigned the rest. It's already assigned the rest. See, you got the rest there.
problem. Coach. I don't think. No, my guy, first to find out, and that's part of the problem too. These guys, whether it's national, whatever, know exactly that would,
But there's the club's responsibility then to step in clerically and try and help them. And
Well,
in his case, yeah, I mean, you know. But I understand nines, you're gonna have a lot of that, but it's up to the club to be hovering over those nines and say, if you have any problems, tell me.
We have preached,
Oh, I know, Lord have
they
mercy.
got issues, call Wondershare,
Yep.
I know.
and you'll,
But I remember some of the priests when I was a kid, man, they told us stuff and I still did it.
I'm worse for saying it.
And I didn't go blind.
So what are we gonna do with
You went.
Preach.
moving it an hour? This one doesn't, I don't have heartburn because I'm sure that what reason is, you know, probably move the rest, but this has changed. Because they're in a tournament, some parts in a tournament.
It's playing.
Yeah, so they wait till 2 days before the game, or 3 days.
Well, thing is that actually, they'll take care of it.
They took care of it, but they didn't enter, is that what you think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
They talk.
I think they do.
Yeah. We have some agreement, but we don't know.
And the system, the
Right.
soccer system allows them to do that.
They talked.
Now he did, finally got it.
Then they put it in, but we're back to, we don't want game changes within. I mean, I realize these are young kids, it's not a big deal. But
Yeah, but
it's
they- I
meant
mean,
in the
we-
head.
Well, those are,
There's no standings or anything
Right.
involved in this. There are kids that are figuring they're gonna get 14 games or whatever, they're not. That's the worst part of these forfeits and no-shows, is that, you know, you get a certain amount of games as a kid, you know, and, for a coach just to clerically, I know, I understand.
how come you're taking ownership?
I'm a Catholic, and I used to guilt. We're guilty. We're just guilty people. We're you know, the original sin. I understand that, so I'm taking them all.
What do we
No,
do with it?
but we have to understand as a league, we only are ourselves. If we want to change this, or we know that there's a problem, then we can change this if we want. We can make up anything we want, any half-ass way we want to do it. I'm not sure, but because it's up to us. There's no.
Well, we're the higher authority.
Yeah.
We're the highest authority.
No, we're all of your power is derived from the peasants.
Yeah, but they,
Yeah. But me to figure this out, they gotta figure, in other words, you choices we make, we vote. And look, the membership voted on this, not us, you know. Care, I mean, for me, none of this matters, you know, the games played against.
Okay, we're gonna be stalled too.
I
So-
don't know an answer. What do we do on this? I mean, because it's,
The referees have
what do
been
you want to do?
referees have been assigned.
So,
Well, then play it now.
play the game, they're 9 years old.
So tell them, well,
They can't play.
This'll open up something else that'll.
What we always said was,
they responded
the
this time.
assigner can assign the referees, it's up to the assigner. Assign the referees.
Well, we, within 7 days, we're not. I mean, we've,
Right, we have a 7-day rule, we're not, we can't make it that we're gonna do it sometimes, and sometimes we're not.
Now we're gonna discipline, we're gonna have to find those referees another.
No,
To pay those refs for not reffing.
I'm not even. That's what I'm playing. Next year will be separate.
so we're saying they're not gonna be rescheduled, I mean, this year that's being scheduled an hour early, I don't know what the reason is. That's a big deal, I mean, that one I don't have heartburn over, I don't even know what the reason is.
It's not, he should
Oh,
have gotten him.
Coach has another game at 10:30.
The other issue,
Mhm. But this
these
is.
coaches are coaching like 14.
Mhm.
Well,
And then
how about the second game? You're gonna switch the first one, Dave, right? I mean, no problem, 1 hour, not an issue?
Yeah.
That's,
Home for both of these, aren't you, the
An hour
home?
early.
You're for both of these.
yes.
But the other not gonna play it tomorrow. Is it tomorrow?
the whole.
No,
It's being switched from
that's,
next week. They're gonna be in this.
For a week away.
Right, that tells this one no. We tell them can't do it within 7, this is 3 days.
21st?
No, this is the day you look
No,
at.
you're talking 3 days, a week before the game day.
Exactly.
Well, their game's gonna be more than a week.
No, the 14th, the game is scheduled for the 14th.
That's right, they changed it to the 21st.
No, we haven't done that yet. They request.
they put in a request 4 days ahead of the game.
Okay, right, this game should not be
We have a
changed
7-day rule.
after the 7th. The 7th of February was the
See how
day
tricky this gets, Mary?
that can be changed that are scheduled for the 14th. That's in 3 days.
Now,
We're gonna
could I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm gonna tell them the game is scheduled for the 14th,
right,
and to be played on the 14th, and cannot be moved to the 21st. That's what,
both of them, like,
on the schedule. It's not scheduled for referees.
Southern time, right?
They recorded it. It was a scrimmage. Done.
Yeah.
well,
That's
what it is.
Just not. Official schedule.
So,
Exactly.
You don't score anyway, so how can you form?
Yeah, it's a time change on the same day, and referee can be moved. But it's changing the date of the game, and
say,
Let
per,
it go.
yeah.
Yeah, really.
what are we doing?
I agree.
Tell them per USA rules, you can't reschedule it. If you wanna have a switch to the other team, God bless you.
What it is anyway.
No, it's not. This is on,
There's no scores, there's no.
Frank, it's scheduled match, whether it's 9s or 15s.
And next year, they're gonna, if you move this game right now, next year, they're gonna say, well, I do it on Wednesday for Saturday. Why can't I do it?
Yeah, I say it's just, we're not, it's not a USA game, it's not even an official USA game, but if you wanna play, that's great, reschedule it. And you tell them, hey, just schedule a game again.
Just let them play it.
Say in the face, say, look, and Gerald will tell them the same thing, Gerald, just go play the game, man, enjoy.
We're creating. I'm trying to do this. Rhetoric for no reason.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not gonna be official, we just can't, we can't, that's.
So I can move the game. Just that.
I'm saying you cannot officially move a USA game, but we tell them that if you want to jewel a game, if you want to play it on the 21st chance.
Well, I can do it now.
No, we're not, Frank,
No,
it's
the principle.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
It's not a league, we don't have a league, huh?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I do.
But we tell them, hey, Gerald, you can send your team over on the 21st, we'll play. Official won't be in the.
There's also a lot of signers out there that. Same sign.
I got guys.
Well, some may feel that way.
And I'm asking.
No, I know. It's good, I mean, that's the way it should be, but I understand at times it's too difficult. He's crazy.
I want, give us game numbers, I pull up the whole thing, it's all, this is game 8.
Right.
Oh, let me tell you, this is, we had, Suncoast Spartans were locked out of their field. They, the game, they had lost the field for whatever reason, changed the locks, they couldn't do. Said, you know what, you can go ahead and reschedule it. There are 26 individual communications on this today. Now what we've got is Suncoast Spartans would like to play the game. Florida does not play the game, and we just coach the other team, okay? Not want to play the game, and keep telling me, let me see. One team, anyway, I don't remember which, now I'm getting confused. Anyway, one wants to play a game and the other one doesn't. That wants to play is because he's in the hunt for first place, which is what important is. So we, Florida Coast. And Sarasota does not want to
Sarasota
play.
should have forfeited the first one when the fields weren't open, not the team's problem.
So we're the other team, the forfeit.
Correct.
The forfeit points, money.
No, but I mean, correct? Whatever reason is, they're responsible to get that field and have it ready to play. But the reason is they couldn't do that. The other team showed up. That's a forfeit.
Right.
Instead, should not have let them reschedule it.
Yeah.
Sarasota doesn't want to play.
No, it's the other team that doesn't want to play.
No, Florida Coast wants to play.
Oh, they do.
It's Sarasota that does not.
But Sarasota gets the forfeit. The first one should have been a forfeit. Correct?
It means Florida Coast gets
They
the
were
point.
locked out of their field.
That's not our
Well,
problem.
that's like a rain, that's like the county closing your fields down. There's no difference.
They weren't.
Now it's closed down.
They were locked out. The county locked them out.
But the way to get
It had nothing to do with anything they did. Somebody screwed up the locks. It was an accident. It had nothing to do with Sarah not being in good relations with the county or city or whoever owns the field. It was not something like,
That's not something that they did.
it was something out of their control.
Well, we can have excuses. They'll phone up somebody that controls the field and stuff like that.
When they showed up, both teams showed up and the gates were locked. Nobody could get in. Showed up, nobody could get in.
I know, but the home team got a phone number or somebody at a city or county organization.
This goes in September. Yeah. I don't know all that. They agreed a couple of months ago to let them replay the game.
Well, Sarasota doesn't want to play the game, right? So they want to forfeit.
So it's gonna give Florida Coast a 3-0 win and be done.
Either they agreed to a reasonable, what do we, back to this thing.
Yeah.
They agreed to a reasonable, and you use the word reasonable, you decide, or tell us it's reasonable. If they don't have a reasonable time, they gotta make an effort to play.
And it's been nothing. I mean, and I've heard from Sarasota that they're not playing the game. I mean, they've.
Well, tell them, if you don't agree to play the game, and we'll set, and if we hear from you in a week, we'll forfeit it, and if we hear from you, we'll tell you when to play, and if you don't want to play, we'll forfeit it. Yeah, we'll pick a date. If you can't, we'll pick a date. It's an act of God. Right?
That's part of it, right? We pick a date, right? They can't agree, we pick a date. I thought that's somewhere in our bylaws.
But again, who says I can't play that you picked the date? The home game?
I mean,
Certain fields, yeah.
So it's dependent upon them to set up a game.
they've got to provide the
Well, I'll
line.
tell you what, they don't set one up by the 31st of March, they forfeit it, that's all. They got time to set one up, since it was an act of God. If they're responsible for setting up a game.
And if they don't, then we'll give Florida Coast a 3-0 win.
If they don't do it with this week, in other words, we don't have a firm date for those fields to be open and invited the other team to play, gotta give them 3 weeks at least, right? I'd think so, otherwise it's gonna be a forfeit. Not fair, but necessary. At least,
Okay,
that makes sense.
yeah, I'll try to get that.
Yeah, just give certain conditions on it, like, hey, you gotta respond, we need something within a week, and it's gotta be 3 weeks out. But if you don't respond within a week, it's a forfeit, and if you don't give them 3 weeks out, or it's not played by the end of the season, it's a forfeit.
Yeah, Florida supposed to get points.
Right.
Club that I'm having trouble getting communication from the Citrus. Braden River and Citrus. We talked about the Braden River one. Citrus did the same kind of stuff that I was having trouble with Braden River. The town did not respond to me. I don't know how many times I sent emails to everybody in that club on 2 games. I'm letting you know because at least I reached a couple of them. I did talk to somebody on the phone about some game issues. But it's the lack of respect by non-response. And Citrus, when they want something, boy, you better answer them immediately.
Could you bring game day report or community?
Oh, that can't. So freeze it. No.
Yeah.
No, I can't do that.
No, I don't think we have a,
No, we can't do something that's game day wise. Then that's,
So what are they not communicating to you about?
several game day issues, just like we had with Braden River, where they needed to respond. The request was in there and they wouldn't respond.
well,
And then it was an FC Tampa game they were playing. It was an FC Tampa home game, just wouldn't respond. And then some that just went in and agreed. And coach said, no, I didn't agree to change it. But somebody from the club went in and pressed the agree button, not from the team. Then they wanted it changed. They wouldn't go in and press agree because we moved it to 4:30. They wanted it back to 2. And I couldn't get anybody from Citrus to respond to me. So, Frank had that trouble with them back. We're trying to do rep classes. They won up at their complex, but wouldn't communicate with us scheduling.
and we're gonna have to think that through about this responding thing, 'cause it's definitely, it's a
If they choose to,
yeah.
if they're ignoring the league, if they're ignoring the other team, that's one thing. If they're ignoring the league, then it's gotta be hammer time.
Well, I wouldn't say ignoring, in other words, it's responsible for having a system in place where we can get a response within a week. Then maybe at the next meeting and say, if you don't, then, we'll figure it out and you'll do a reset.
Yeah.
Well, you'll have to go along with what we decided. You didn't respond in a week. And everyone's, you gotta, I think we press it again and say, if your club's another way to trade on this, and if I didn't get an email or anything else, we gotta have a certain email address or phone number where we can contact you and we can hear from you within 7 days.
It's become a little stronger language in the fact that.
Well, no, I mean, it's just, it's having a.
Clubs are failing to communicate to each other, and then you say league, it's all, then we expect response immediately.
There's no clerical problems, that's good, I agree, but.
We got extra administrative staff to handle all this stuff.
But talking to us, and we're talking.
If they're ignoring the league, you can't have that.
No, but then, where you were seeing that the communication is going through somewhere and someone's.
Well,
Are we calling people?
we've just done that.
Well, no, I think next year we say, you have either an email or a phone number. If we cannot get you on either one of these, by these methods, then we're gonna assume we're gonna make our own decisions. And so look at the email and
they don't
phone
doubt.
number you got.
It's like with Moriarty. Dan admitted that they had received my email. It was it isn't that we have bad contact info. I've been using that email address to communicate with him for years. It is right.
So, I'm telling you, that's gotta come, and I'll tell you what.
I just switched out to Verizon and Tampa Bay Roadrunner wouldn't forward any of my emails.
Yeah, but he had no trouble emailing
Oh,
me
I
when he
know,
wanted
just saying,
the
though,
same
that
day.
things can't happen. I think we've gotta make it clear to them.
You're making excuses for him.
Oh, no, but I think for sure, you've got to, if there's any problem, your responsibility to have something in our hands that is absolutely clear, phone number or email, that within 1 week, someone will answer this. If they don't,
With your week.
we'll do something. Why not?
Yeah, week. So these things here, when you're coming down to a game, you're talking about 10 days out, you can't change it with 7. Wait a week, that's gonna bring us down to 3.
It shouldn't be 10 days, then we'll make them, we'll push back. But I mean, the fact is, you gotta have some time
They need
period
to
where
come
they
back
have to
within
get back.
24 hours. If you leave a message on somebody's
This is a
phone.
volunteer, you got volunteer organizations, 24 hours is not reasonable.
That's why I mentioned 70.
You're probably right, you're probably right.
Any computer gets different emails in my own.
Hey, these clubs nowadays, somebody's in that club.
Somebody on it.
But someone like Citrus, man, they got 2 teams in the league. I mean, they don't, that's a problem. I mean, if you want to
They
have.
come, all right, well,
Won't even come, you won't even see
when they
them.
come and they complain about something up there, say, let me.
Well, I mean, let's go further. That's why you say, we do have a rule now where we can refuse to have people in the league. And that's one of the reasons that we can't get in touch. We don't care if you only got 4 teams, but now if you got 4 teams that really don't care, that's a whole different thing. That's up to us to say, look, we like you guys, we really do, but you're not gonna schedule any more games up there, okay? You gotta have to start doing it.
This is why here, whoa.
Yeah, just can't communicate with you.
You guys don't want to.
Yeah. Or the information he's getting is no good. I mean, whoever it is not giving us good information, and we can't get to you.
Anyway, posted on the website, number of teams for the people that are in good standing and can vote at the AGM. Put them in for them all.
They're in bed.
No, the one you can click to their website. Bold is the ones that can vote. I'm gonna have to go and make it a different font or something. If they miss 3 or more, they can't vote. So Dale can't vote. Bartow, obviously.
We still have 2 more meetings.
But if they've already missed 3, they're out of the
Yes,
running.
absolutely.
All right,
There's a
so,
ton
and
of.
they can see what it is, so there's only a few, but anyways, you can see what the voting strength is, it's already there, so,
What happens at the beginning of the year when some of these clubs couldn't log in?
if they had communicated with me, then they were counted as, and they know who to log in, everybody that tried to log in and email, I record of their login, so they know.
Well, you know what, Frank, if it gets down to, there's a, we did last year, TVU, we go back and we gave them the vote back. So, I mean, it's a matter, if it's down to the votes and they say they missed those meetings, they go look at it. Because I agree with you, with 2 meetings.
Yeah.
The one the lightning hit and the other one.
But everybody that had, that tried to log in, there's a record of, and we counted them as coming. Because they tried to log into the system, had nothing to do with us not broadcasting.
I got you, okay.
Okay, so if they
I
tried to
agree.
log in, we gave them
Then they're not
credit.
gonna complain about it.
No, they're not gonna hear from them.
So, now I see 1, 2.
Bartow, Braver,
Or you might as well say who can.
oh, Braden River has, bring them up. Soccer Club. Lakewood. Oldsmar. Pinellas County. Nelson. That's it. Winter Haven. West Benton.
Basketball, no, they missed 3.
We don't have the lines going down here because we got December.
They're close.
Remember, there was no, I'll sign up very bright here where I've got them in bold, so I have to come up with something
So, there ain't a whole lot of people we got.
that are gonna vote. Exactly. That's what it boils down to.
Well, no, hey, And Merit, the fact that they don't come is a vote of confidence that you're doing very well and everything's great.
So let's make the decision.
Okay, now.
Aye.
The only thing I have left is the, dressing. That's about it, because those were billed, I know what people.
Well, Joan Judd, we talked about real quickly, and we'll later, but we had a request.
Show you what we got, but did you want me to still, the transmitting this? Okay.
Well, we have a request basically for everybody. Brian and I were talking about it up here, so get the request that it's going to be difficult because we're going to be cutting kids off, and agreed. I mean, there's only $10,000, $10,000. That's what we've got. We at least or have in place a sort of merit reasons why you get it or don't get it, grades, this, that, referee, how many years you played in USA. We should probably just get that established. We don't have to go into a long thing about 6 months, but we ought to have a rough thumbnail of what we're looking for and what matters, so that if someone does it now, Brian's right, not going to sue over a $500 thing, but we should just, as a courtesy, say the important things. I think that the written part, I agree with 100% that the essay should matter very little because this is an English class and you get kids that maybe English may be still somewhat of a second language, yet they may be the greatest kids on earth,
So you
soft
don't want
players.
that. I mean, that's what.
No, I don't want it. Well,
What do we want?
That's, I
well,
need
no,
to know.
The committee always
No.
asked for an essay, but it wasn't like that for grammar.
well, yeah, but Frank, what we need to have down somewhere, my point is somewhere from this, just what, not even 10%, 20%, just the 5 things that matter the most, and then they are weighted less, even if it's what you call parametric. Let's just at least have it. Grades, obviously, right? How many years you played in the USA? What you did if you were ref, maybe, I don't know, things like that.
Extracurricular.
Yeah, just have them listed so that we've got some order of importance. I think the other thing is we got to look in for next year is not having the requirement for some of them. Some of the stuff they're asking for is really
Well, we change it
difficult.
right now.
I don't want to change it. I don't want everybody.
It's real simple to change it.
No, I want everybody to be. But I want to talk to George too, because if George doesn't agree, if they really are strong, we tried to change the amounts. They didn't agree. We said, okay, they've been doing a long time, and real preference. Me, I'd like to see 4 kids get $2,500 each, but they don't think that was that kind of thing. All right, cool. I think I'd ask from them, the committee, some sort of thing so the kids have, so the ones that didn't get the 500 at least have some format to say, well, I didn't measure up in one of the categories to the people that were there, period. Not a thing, just a mention of how we're listing things in sort of ordinal order. And I think that written thing toward the bottom, if it were me, because it's not an English exam, and this isn't an essay contest. It's about kids playing soccer and the kids that have played in our league and deserve to be considered. But some kids aren't going to make it. That's the point. He's going to lose some kids.
Well, this letter of recommendation, how critical, I mean, that.
Well, they was asked for that.
Oh, yeah.
They always asked for that.
There's a lot of stuff in there, and I mean, we're off and running this year. Let's just keep it. But we can change it.
What happens with that is that first thing the committee looks at is if it's in order and if it's right. The first page, not, it's false.
Yeah, but it doesn't go anymore. It's online.
We're changing the number.
That's on.
That's what I'm saying. So next year, we're changing the number. George thinks it's...
I want to see a video with soccer skills. I got to do some dribbling. No? Okay.
Well, I need to know what y'all want me to put out. We've got to get
I'm not
this out
voting on that
published.
one.
We've got to put this out.
Let's go with that.
got it already for this year. We've got it, it's in,
You know, the essay being, they want the essay as if they have to decide. Well,
if it comes down to the last thing, then I can decide on the essay, but gee whiz, you know.
Well, I wouldn't leave that, I mean, if
They gotta be able to communicate, if they can't write, they gotta write something.
No, but,
Then we know they're not going to college.
Yeah, they gotta go to, they're going to college.
You gotta waste your.
hey, I don't know, man.
I talked to my.
I don't know.
Classes now, I don't know.
Alright,
I heard that Bill Gates didn't get it because he couldn't write
You put
the
in
thing.
your applications for law school.
They've got a software program, they can write it in Spanish and convert it, or they can write it in German and convert it, translate.
Try that once, I did, and I was asking some guy if I could buy his nose instead of shrimp. I don't know how it got to be that bad.
the March 14th date, are you fine with that? We used to have this date predicated upon, banquet, which we're not doing anymore. But that's still gonna be about a
Yeah,
month
that's
from
good.
when I pass this out. So, I think that's fine?
Cool.
Okay. And then we're just gonna mail them a check. So, that's
Right,
what's gonna
yes,
happen.
absolutely.
The only other thing I've got is any specific topics and questions that you want to ask for this meeting on the 1st. I'm gonna send out an,
Well,
you know, do we wanna-
let's get a little bit of time. It's March 1st, huh?
that's in 2 weeks.
3 days.
Hey, Paul, just
When do
think of
we
this.
always done it March 1st?
Mm-hmm.
It's a short month, Paul.
Oh, sure, man.
March 1st.
questions that pertain to the meeting that we want to know about for,
Well, sure, this, scheduling thing.
Okay. I'll see if it works. Want me to put out a survey? I mean, last year we put out a survey. And we got
did you have response?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did. A lot of response.
I'll come with something.
But, you gotta really, I mean, that one's one that's gotta be hacked out. It's almost, you can't even give them a bunch of things, do you think? Because you gotta get to,
Do like you did last year, the survey, and then it's discussed at the planning.
look, the senior season, we just wanna be dead sure, even though it's created some problems, and we understand that, everyone's still fine with the way we're doing it now, the extension. That's one.
Okay, sure, and I'll
Right.
explain that one, and then the reschedule, which is the other thing.
Yeah, the reschedule's
And,
gotta be tuned in a little bit.
yeah, we got something
Well,
where,
we'll do something,
Okay.
figure something out.
communication response. Because,
Anything else, I mean, haven't had, have we? We had a lot, big controversies this year as far as rules. I mean, we had complaints about, like,
You know why we're not seeing it? Because they're not here, wanting to their hand and listening to themselves, pitching and mowing.
No, but they'll email, boy.
I just got an email saying that they're posting, they're not anymore.
what was that?
Listen to somebody say, post something or whatever to the board.
Well, she's here, we haven't got, I just now getting some of this now.
That was during regular session.
What she did was, she said no report, and then we pretty much finished the meeting when something, and I didn't see it. Record women's soccer team on a Royal fundraiser, March 1st, for their member that passed away. And it's March 1st. So,
Not for March 1st.
but that's our, but that's only for the club, ours is just for club leaders.
Yeah.
Whoever,
I mean, she just said Eckerd Women's College,
some is the DOC, as like, remember Jimmy used to be the only guy that ever
on
come
that same
from,
day.
Celtics, right? He's gone.
I mean,
After all
Oh, I
these
know.
years, I'm gonna tell you something, Yossi,
she asked them,
information.
Yeah, we know.
Tell
Well, but Mike.
tell people.
That's it, that's all right.
Oh.
A guy like Mike does.
Yeah.
Donald does.
More there's the.
No, but that's what my point is, let's get the guys like the,
Hey,
I think she just wanted to be good in the game.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
no, I agree, I don't, you wouldn't make it the D, that's why I said we get away from the DOC, but if it is the DC, he's welcome.
25 close-second vote.
It's very,
Okay, yeah, so it's not that.
No, I agree. I think it's a good idea.
We're
Have
not.
a dinner, I mean, it's, you know.
Or have them send a picture of them, and, they can put it on the website if they want to.
No, I we want to promote it, you know.
Well, we gotta have some way, I mean, it's gotta go further than this room, and we
Yeah,
gotta have something else here
Well,
to.
you know, what I was thinking, the next year's like coaches meeting, the senior meeting, or the juniors meeting, that's really the organization, that's the level one. And, or like you said, maybe get pictures and have it posted at those.
Did you put the amount on the site? You have that on the site right now, that missive you gave me, that little.
That
That's
program.
Did you see the thing on there, how much money, it's just been $300-something thousand we've donated since, we have that on the website.
Well, yeah, we can do it in a major format, make a big deal.
That's how the banquet. Have the parents come in and stuff.
Yeah, well, the parents of the kids would come, but I'm saying, let's show it to the league, what I'm trying to do. What we're doing. That's promoting the league. That's Liverpool, and this is what I'll be for next year's coaches meeting.
The kids there, because they're gone to school.
But that's why May.
Well, no, I mean, at the planning thing, let's just, we got this year, let's get an idea how we wanna promote that. We also thought about, I mean, and we were determined, maybe we'll take another run at it, giving out $5,000 to 2 kids, or $2,500 to 4 kids, making it significant for them through their first year of college.
$500, we got 20 pictures.
No, okay, I mean, I'm just, you wanna make a splash?
why don't you, at the end of the year, do on the site homepage, year in review, and, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm up to
It's
anything like that.
And we still, at the coaches meeting, I mean, this is really to plan those coaches. That's where we can really promote.
Yeah, no one mentioned that
Yeah,
this year,
It's gotta
actually.
be better.
Well, there's a ton of market mediums to do that. And, one is the coaches meeting. It's got to be on the website. You can send an email blast, with it as well. I mean, I agree, it needs to be shown what the league is doing.
Well,
it doesn't have to be in one location.
We've done a bad job, period, and I blame myself, I mean, for really leading that to not get our,
Marketing meeting, how we promote the league.
but,
And what we've done.
well, good, put that down for the, March event.
Probably create a Facebook.
Yeah, Twitter,
Generator Facebook.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it.
Y'all have the time, we got. But our academy's got one, Area C, but I'm the administrator, so I don't much help.
I'm not fond of
Just thinking the kids are though, right?
Yeah,
Although now it's Instagram.
Instagram.
I don't know how to do Instagram, I think it's.
Twitter here, follow Twitter, right?
My kids now,
Who's not communicating out there?
I didn't need to get on Twitter, so I got on Twitter. I never,
Hey.
I look at it now.
Okay, so, right, and it's.
So like-
Yeah.